My book Deluge tells the beginning of the story that frames the 20th century and indeed much of the beginning of the 21st century as well. It's a history of the emergence of American hegemony as the organizing linchpin of world affairs. This is why it has this rather unusual opening date of 1916, the first presidential election of the United States that was watched anxiously, as all American presidential elections have since been, by the entire world. The world had moved from a situation in which at the beginning of World War I, the United States was largely irrelevant, to one 2 years into the war in which the United States was the pivot of politics, diplomacy, and economic affairs worldwide. So the book tells a story which is urgent and relevant to the present day in telling the beginnings of the American period of power. But I think it's even more urgent in the present moment, even more than it is or was when I wrote it, because it also tells the story of the first crisis of American power and the first crisis of American global leadership in the failure of the Wilson administration to carry through its project of winning congressional support for the League of Nations, and subsequent to that, then the disaster of American economic policy in bubble stabilizing Europe, or failing to stabilize Europe in the 1920s. So this is a book which I hope will allow readers to understand both the centrality of American power, but also help them to understand some of its internal limits and to place those limits within the sweeping arch of American history. It's hard, I think, for anyone outside the United States to credit. But then, in World War I and its aftermath, as today, the United States, its political system, its society is still riven by tensions which originate in the 19th century, in the period of slavery, in the period of the Civil War and the overcoming of slavery. And that history explodes in the moment of World War I as it continues to reverberate through American society today. So this is a book which I hope will illuminate the coming year of elections in the United States and people's understanding of American politics 100 years on from the moments that are described in its pages.